to kind of do one big thank you. I know there's going to be some thank yous here today, but I've got to do one big one to Diane here. Diane has been just excellent pulling this together here in the last couple of days. Matter of fact, we're doing all the details and everything. So Diane, let's give her a round of applause for kind of helping big time on getting this put together. So, thanks, Diane. So with that, then we have about 3-4 things we're going to do. We're going to introduce some family members, do some thank yous, talk about the bench. Also going to talk about a tree that's going to be planted in Tracy's memory. So a lot of things to kind of cover here, and we're going to introduce family, and family are going to say a few words. So with that, then I'd like to kind of begin with reading Tracy's obituary. We kind of decided, I guess I and Dee Dee decided that it was so well written. Not sure who wrote that, but whoever did it did an excellent job. And so we think that maybe it's very appropriate at this time to read her obituary as a teacher in Clinton, Iowa, but then also resident of DeWitt. So I'll just read what was written in the newspaper. And so here we go. Tracy Lynn Peterson Ketwick, age 47, of DeWitt, Iowa, passed away in Iowa City. Passed away in Iowa City on July 17th, 2017, surrounded by her beloved family. Tracy had put up a strong and courageous fight and battle against breast cancer and fought to the very end. But God had another plan. Tracy was a beautiful and bright light that touched and warmed everyone that she knew and loved. Her love of life was evident in everything she did, whether it was making a batch of her famous Scotcheroos or surprising someone with a thoughtful gift or gesture that was just so Tracy. Tracy was an elementary teacher at Bluff Elementary in Clinton, Iowa, and she loved being a teacher. She was constantly looking for ways to inspire her fellow teachers, her students, and to achieve and to excel. Tracy also had many hobbies and interests that brought her constant joy and satisfaction. Her creativity, her thoughtfulness, and her unwavering generosity were the hallmark of who she was. She embraced life and lived it to the fullest. She accepted the challenges of cancer with poise, determination, and strength that served as an inspiration to everyone. Tracy's greatest joy came from being a mother and a wife to Carson and Wayne, being a stepmother to Trey and Jasmine, and being part of a loving family that enjoyed many special outings that most often Tracy had planned and played a key part in getting it organized. She'd also loved being a grandmother to the most beautiful grandchildren in the world, Kingsley, Cannon, Knox, Blaine, and Devin. Tracy loved her family deeply and enjoyed making many memories with them, which will forever keep her in our hearts. She was born December 13th, 1969, the daughter of Dudley and Marlene Peterson, and the loving sister to Lori, Brenda, and Ann. She was a favorite aunt and godmother to Josh and Christopher Novell. She also loved spending time with nieces and nephews, Chris and Abby Howell, Tyler, Drew, Ross and Troy, Diedrich, and Jet Ketwick. Tracy was baptized and confirmed at Elk Creek Lutheran Church and was married to Wayne Ketwick on June 22nd, 1996. She loved growing up on a farm in rural Kensett and graduated from Northwood Kensett High School in 1988. She received her undergraduate degree at the University of Northern Iowa and her master's degree from the Western Illinois University. Her final words will forever be with us and give us strength. I've got this. It's all going to be okay, were her final words. So let's, next thing we're going to do is I'd like to introduce her family. So if Wayne would come forward and Carson would come forward. And I think this might be a perfect time to have Wayne just make a few comments. So Wayne?
Yeah, first off, we'd like to thank everybody for showing up here. It's an honor to support Tracy this way, and it's truly appreciated by us and all the family. As those of you who know Tracy, this is the last thing she'd want is ever to have a gathering of people here looking out for her and honoring her and whatever, because she did not like the attention. So it's still remarkable to see everybody here and honoring her. So definitely thanks to the class of 1988 and any other friends and relatives or whatever that helped to contribute to the bench and the tree. It's very appropriate because, as you all know, Tracy was a small town girl and she loved her 4-H. I mean, I still see dresses and stuff that she sewed back many years ago and had the ribbons and everything attached to them yet. So she loved the fair. She loved being a rural farm girl. And she loved coming to the fair and exhibiting, and she was always very proud of that. So this was a time and a place that was very near and dear to Tracy. So it's very appropriate that they're ending up here at the fairgrounds. So as a husband, you know, I always thought I married a wonderful woman, but it's times after her passing that you find out just how much other people respect her, and this is another idea of how much people respect her. But you know, the thing that really hit me is, you know, Tracy worked at a low-income school. 86% of the kids got free lunches at the school she worked in. She worked on the south side of Clinton. It's a very impoverished area. Every day, her old students made sure there were fresh flowers in front of her old classroom for an entire year. So her students wanted to honor her, and so for one entire school year they all made sure there was at least fresh flowers. You know, they didn't change them every day, but they made sure there was a good looking flower bouquet in front of her classroom. So just reiterates to me and to everybody else what a wonderful person she was. So once again, thank you for honoring her the way you are. We truly appreciate it. So
Give a round of applause. Good job, Carson, Wayne. Okay, we also have, of course, Tracy's mother here, Marlene. So Marlene, if you want to come forward maybe a little bit, and then Lori too, if you want to come forward with maybe Mom, and I think Mom's going to say a few words. So Lori. And her sisters Brenda and Ann are right on the beat her today, but Marlene and Lori are here, and so we'll let Marlene just make a couple comments here. So Marlene?
Well, I'll just kind of repeat what Wayne said. This is wonderful, and we appreciate it, and we'll always remember it. So I want to thank you. And like Wayne said, she enjoyed the fair. She started coming when her dad was on the fair board, and so then she watched her sisters with her older sisters take things to the fair, and by the time it was her turn, she went full speed ahead on it and really enjoyed it. And Gloria can testify to that. So thank you so much, really.
And the Petersons definitely were heavily involved in the fair. Dudley being president of the fair for quite a long time, and so definitely big supporters of 4-H. And so right now we might just talk a little bit about her 4-H activity. And Tracy was a person that did, like I said, had a lot of exhibits at the fair. One was sheep, that she did that, and you just heard Wayne talk about some of the other non-livestock projects she had. So really active that way. Worked in the 4-H food stand. Also did another thing that we don't have happen as much as we used to, but there, at one time way back when, our 4-H club, the Green Shamrocks, who Gloria Helgeson's been a leader of, or was a leader of for a long, long time, they used to take care of our kitty barnyard. So at this point then I'm going to ask Gloria Helgeson, as she's close by here. So Gloria, will you please come forward and make a couple comments about Tracy and how that all came about with her club activities. So thank you.
Okay, now you know I'm not good at this, okay? Lord, but I swallow that mic. Swallow the mic? Okay. Did you want me to sing a song too? Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I went down and looked through the archives of all our Green Shamrocks programs. And I got on there and how ambitious Tracy really was. 1982, when she joined, she was our reporter for the club. I got this upside down, Dennis, just a minute. 1984, she was secretary of the club. 1985, she was treasurer of the club. 1987, she was vice president. And 1988, she was president, and then that's when she graduated. But she was very active, and I will have to tell you one funny story, because Marcia Holstead is kind of one that got all this started too. So in that time when they were in the club, between Marcia and Tracy and Michelle, they caused me to have a few gray hairs, but not bad. But one of the things they used to do, and we remember this, fair used to be in July. Okay, it used to be in July. My daughter's birthday is in July, right during the fair time. So I think it was Tracy, when at the Celebration of Life, when I found out that she was kind of the instigator of a lot of things in your town, then it brought me back to remember. Every year, all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, we want to sing happy birthday to Michelle Helgeson. And that was Marcia and Tracy going up in there and doing it. But we did have the old kitty barn for a long time. Green Shamrocks ran it. We had animals in there. And probably the funniest moment, and I think Tracy was still in, is when we had people here in town that had miniature goats. Remember that? And they wanted them in the kitty barn. So we said, yes, you can do that. Well, every day they decided to bring the goats out. Do you remember it, Sue? Bring the goats out and parade them around the fairgrounds. And I remember the girls come running out of there. Gloria, 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 they're getting the goats out again. And I was just furious. I went in there and I said, you cannot parade the goats around this fairground. But those were funny things. I had a wonderful time with Tracy, and I also in Sunday school. And of course, Marlene, I've known Marlene for a long time. And all the other girls were in 4-H, but I didn't have the privilege of having you in the club. All right, so that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Dory. Give her a round of applause for a good job there. Thanks.
Oh, one of the things
We did mention earlier that she's class of 1988, and I think some of you probably are classmates out here today, so thanks for coming. But I might mention too that the class of 88 wasn't the only class that made contributions to the bench and to the tree. We also think that class members from as far back as 1985, I mean the upperclassmen, and then also the class of 1991. So we had kind of a wide range. Everybody that knew her as far as upperclassmen, people that are underclassmen with Tracy also made contributions to the bench, made contributions to the tree. It sounds like we're going to try and play off of the fact that she was a school teacher, and the education is important. Children are important to her. They're school students. It's out here. Wayne talk about that. The flowers every day. I never knew that before. But so we're thinking right now that we're hoping to put right out in here. We're hoping to put a little playground, kind of a preschool playground, for kids that are maybe about, let's say, kindergarten, first grade, up to about 4th or 5th grade. That'll be located right in here, and we'll probably try to locate the bench and also that tree kind of in that vicinity right there. So that's kind of be the plan long term as far as relocating the bench. I think Ron Hengesteg, one of her classmates, also is planning on maybe even putting a base on this bench, and then also the tree will be located kind of somewhat nearby. Plus the class of 1988 this summer, I think it's July 27th and 28th. You guys have a class reunion this summer, 2018 here, and when you do the class reunion, it sounds like you're going to try and come up and hopefully have the tree in place, hopefully have the bench permanently installed, and then that'll be a good picture time for all the class of 1988. So that'll be good. Okay, at this time, I have another person I'd like to introduce, and that's Amy Stevens Petrie, excuse me. And so Amy, if you please come forward, we have a poem that we'd like to have you read. And that poem was suggested by, I'm going to let you know it's another classmate, Julie Littlejean Butte. And so Julie came up with that, and so Amy is nice enough to be able to read this poem here at this time. So Amy.
Hello, I just wanted to take the time to when you had mentioned where Tracy worked, and she was always friendly to everyone at school, at the fair, whatever, and I always will remember she was just the nicest person ever, so, but, oh, sorry. The poem is called She Is Gone. You can... You can shed tears that she is gone, or you can smile because she has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she'll come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that she has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of love you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that she's gone, or you can cherish her memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn back, or you can do what she'd want to do. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on.
Thank you very much, Amy. Okay, I think we're going to end up closing out the ceremony here with Diane Aylertson Myers. And so, Dee Dee, I'll have you come up front and do some thank yous. So, thank you.
Just know everybody in Northwood are the only ones that get by with calling me Dee Dee anymore. And my kids actually make fun of me because of that. I want to thank you for stepping in and doing this. You did a wonderful job. Can we give them a hand? Thank you. And I also want to thank the Fair Board for allowing us to place this here. And Chris, and I think Jeff was a big part too for everything you guys helped us do to get this Gloria, thank you. Thank you for the call the other day. Thank you. And Marcia was a big part of this. She's took a vacation today, so she's not here. But she was the head of this and got it going and was a big part of this. So thank you to Marcia Holstead. Amy, thank you for reading the poem. And then I also want to thank all the donations. Yes, we were, donations came in from the class of 85 through 1991. So there were several classes that did donate. So thank you if you donated. And I also want to thank Tracy's family. Thank you for, I know Wayne and Carson, you came a long ways. I drove by that same exit on the way here, so I know how long the drive was. And thank Marlene and Lori for coming too. Thank you. And then just thanks to everybody that came out today and supported Tracy. She was a dear, dear friend, obviously, to many people, and she made a difference in her life. So thank you.
And one last thank you, everybody else. And I might mention that hopefully I'll have this tree planted and also bench kind of in place hopefully a little later in summer. So nice portrait too that we can talk about, but the bench is well done. ADA Enterprises, which is located on the east side of Northwood, is the group that makes those benches, and it's just a wonderful one and great tribute to Tracy. So thank you for coming, everybody.
Dennis, can we do, Amy had talked to me earlier and we thought it would be appropriate to do the 4-H pledge.
Oh, okay, you bet.
You want to start it?
I'll let you come up.
Oh no, you put me on the spot again. Amy, a lot of people here were in 4-H, so come on, Chris. Okay, come on, Amy, somebody's got to help me. Jolene? You guys, okay, we all knew the 4-H pledge. I pledge my head to clear thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, my health to better living, for my club, my community, my country, and my world.
Good job, okay, one last thing we thought about here just now. A lot of good friends and family here. Maybe one big group picture might be a good idea as well. So if everybody wants to gather up, we'll try to get